me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Monday Night Football Overtime. Rams. Bucks. I got a question for y'all. I want to start this one off with a question. Rams get the win 27-24. Really impressive performance from the Bucks, the Rams. And we talked about this Rams defense and their number one ranking throughout the week. And they proved it again tonight. I told you I'm still not quite sure if they're good enough to beat some of the upper echelon teams in the league. I feel like some of the things that they do, I don't think they're gimmicky, but I think they are a product of what they have and who they are. And they have to do those things to win. And that's great coaching is what that is. You know, Sean McVay is one of the best in the business. And we'll get to the Rams in a second. But I got a question for y'all to start this show off. Can we stop making excuses for Tom Brady already? Can we stop with the Tom Brady? You know, can we stop making excuses for Tom Brady? He lost the Buccaneers the game tonight. Can we stop making excuses for him? Like every time he doesn't play well, oh, it's the offensive line and you know these receivers, they aren't separating. Can we stop making excuses for Tom Brady? He was awful tonight. And this isn't the first time we've seen this year. And the pass rush for the Rams, it was all right. It wasn't dominant tonight. Can we stop making excuses for Tom Brady? That's the real question I have for you guys. Can we stop making excuses for 12? Before the season started, my biggest concern for Tom Brady, could he throw the deep ball? Could he throw the football down the field consistently? What happened tonight? What was the stat that Steve Levy threw out over the last 3 games? What is he? 1 of 21 or some craziness like that of passes 15 yards or further down the field. Like, what the hell are we doing here? He was 1 of like 11 tonight with 2 interceptions on passes over 15 yards. Like, can we have a Tom Brady discussion? Because honestly speaking, the Bucs defensively deserve better tonight. Can we acknowledge that? They deserve better, yeah. Jared Goff threw for over 3 and some change. 2 receivers for the Rams went over 100, all right, and went over $1 and some change. You had Cooper Kupp with 11 for like $1.43. You had Woods for like 12 for like $1.30. That's where the bulk of the yards came from. But they kept them in this game. This easily could have been an assault tonight if not for the defense stepping up. How many times are they going to give them pristine field position and they not do anything with it? And some of it isn't Brady. Like, can we run a simple speed out on 4th down and not trip over our own teammate's foot? I don't know. I mean, the Bucs looked out of sync offensively. They're a young defense. They're inconsistent defensively. I've talked about this already, especially in the secondary. I need to stop saying they're a young defense. They're not young up front. They're not young in the front 7. They're young in the back end. That's where a lot of the mistakes take place. When you see breakdowns, miscommunications, guys running wide open, a lot of times it's because of the back end. You don't see that with the Rams. Guys aren't running free. Know why? Because they keep it tight back there, all right? They keep it tight in the back end. It helps when you got a shutdown corner and you don't even have to worry about what's going on that side of the field. It helps when you can roll coverage to the other side. But it also helps when you got smart football players that understand leverage and what teams are trying to do, how they're trying to set you up. And sometimes you're going to give some stuff up when you got a young back end. But they fought their asses off too. And they picked Jared Goff off twice. And they made their fair share of plays. Or JPP picked one off, and the other one was picked off by Whitehead. The defense gave this Buccaneers offense a chance. Time and time and time again tonight. And they got no help in the second half whatsoever. None. And I knew that the JPP interception to start the second half was an omen for me. When he picked that pass off, I said, I want to see what Brady and company are going to do with this pristine field position that he's just given them. If they go 3 and out essentially, which I think they had 1 first down and then they kicked the field goal, then I know it's going to be a long second half for the Bucs on offense. And what did they do? 1 first down, 3 and out, field goal. This offense doesn't fit Tom Brady. Can we acknowledge that? He's a dink and dunk master, surgical underneath. We can do the 14-play, 85-yard drive all day long if that's what you want. He can give it to you. But in this offense, under Bruce Arians, that you are required to be able to push the football down the field, Tom Brady cannot do it consistently. Even in the games where he's lighting it up 360 on 31 of 42 passing, for 4 touchdowns and no interception, he's still missing deep balls. Last week against Carolina, I watched that game. Early in the game, he's got Antonio Brown streaking down the middle of the field. He missed him. This offense is not a good fit for Thomas Brady. You can say what you want about Jameis Winston. You can talk about the 30 for 30. He was a much better fit for this offense than that of Thomas Brady. Now, you're going to get the mistakes with Jameis Winston, and that's what was stopping them from winning a bunch of games. And you're not going to get those mistakes with Brady all the time. But this offense is not a match for Brady. It's not. And this is the 4th time this season that we've seen Brady up against a formidable defense. And this is the 4th time that they failed miserably on offense. Twice against the Saints, once against the Bears, once tonight against the Rams. If you put a cupcake defense in front of them, this offense will carve them up. Make it look easy too. Put a defense in front of them that can rattle Brady's cage a little bit, get him off of his spot, get him seeing ghosts. It's funny. I'm listening to the telecast, and I thought they did a horrible job tonight, by the way. This is the first game that I said, what the hell are you guys talking about? Only person that I didn't have one of those moments with tonight was Louie Reddit. Steve Levy going all hysterical when Kenyon Barner picked up the fumble or picked up the ball that was touched by the kicking team. Well, once they touch it, the ball's dead there. He can do whatever the hell he wants to do. He could fumble it. He could throw it in the back of the end zone. Ball goes right back to where the Rams touched the ball. Oh my God, fumble. He fumbled the ball on the play, and the Rams recovered. You don't know the rules to the game. You're a hockey guy doing a football telecast. And then you got Greasy talking about, Rams have to hurry up and get out of the huddle. And in his defense, the Rams had multiple times, and this is an ongoing problem because Sean McVay gets wordy in the huddle and wants to tell Jared Goff so much stuff in that helmet. He used to do the same thing in Washington. He gets so wordy that you get up against that play clock because he sees so much and he wants to say so much. And when they cut off that damn mic in the helmet, it's like overload. You're trying to spit it all out to the guys in the huddle, and you get to the line and you're trying to make checks and trying to get everybody set up. And next thing you know, you look up, it's 2 seconds left on the play clock. But one of the things the Rams do is they change tempo better than anybody in the league. And one of the things they do to change tempo is they'll stay in the huddle, and they'll do this little bit of a mush huddle. And they'll literally huddle 3 or 4 yards away from the ball. Normally a huddle is like 7, 8, 9 yards behind the ball. They'll huddle 3-4 yards away from the ball, wait till 5 seconds left on the play clock, burst out of the huddle, get to the line, snap the ball immediately. Defense hasn't even set up. That's how they scored the touchdown. And Grease is like, oh, they better hurry up. I'm like, you don't know what the hell they're doing, do you? No, he didn't know. And that's it's an indictment on him, but it's indicative of guys that just don't watch the rest of the league. They have a game to focus in on. They talk to the coaches and some players, and that's their thing. Every week they go to a different stadium with 2 different teams, and that's their focus for that week. So I'm not going to kill him for that. But if you've been watching the Rams for any amount of time, you know that's one of the things that they do under Sean McVay. But I digress. You know I can go off on a tangent from time to time. Back to the topic at hand, which is Brady and this offense and not being a good fit. There were times tonight where Steve Levy's like, oh my God, a 3rd drop by Leonard Fournette. No, Steve. No, that's not the 3rd drop by Leonard Fournette. It's a bad throw from Tom Brady. He's flustered. He thinks someone's coming to hit his 43-year-old ass. He's scared. That was a terrible throw out into the flats. It wasn't going anywhere. He was going to get Leonard Fournette killed. But he's hot potato. I don't want it. It's time for us to acknowledge that this Buccaneers team is not winning the Super Bowl. I didn't think they were winning it from the jump. Remember, I told you they weren't going to even make the playoffs. I was wrong about that. I can admit when I'm wrong. They're going to make the postseason. Okay? The NFC is nowhere near as strong as I thought it was going into the season. Never thought the Cowboys and the Eagles would be as bad as they are right now. The NFC West is doing exactly what I thought. I thought the Falcons would be a good team. They let me down this year. And everything else is kind of fitting the way that I thought. I thought the Bears would be a good team. They started out that way. They stink. I knew the Vikings were going to struggle this year. I told you they were 8-18 before the season started. They're trending towards 8-8 right now. So a lot of the things that I predicted is coming to fruition, but there are a few things that aren't. And one of those things is the Bucs not being a playoff team. But they're not a Super Bowl contender this year. And I honestly don't know. And I actually said this. If Brady sticks around for both years of this deal, because remember, it's a 2-year deal, but I think the second year is a player option. I said they might have a chance to win it in the second year when he's a little bit more comfortable with the offense, what they're asking him to do. He's acclimated to the players around him. Maybe they'll have a shot that second year with Brady. But, he'll be 44 at that point. And I don't know if that makes a big difference with him. He seems to be defying age and time right now. But I just don't think he's a good fit for this offense under Bruce Arians. No risk it, no biscuit, taking shots down the field. To me, that was never Brady's strong suit, but he could do it at a high enough level that he could get away with it in New England. He could throw the deep ball. He didn't throw it very often because they didn't have guys that could get deep, but we saw it that year when he had Randy Moss, that he could throw the deep ball and guys could get vertical and he could make it happen. That's not really who Tom Brady ever was, though. He's surgical underneath, and even that is I thought he was erratic tonight. And I've seen that from him this year. Even the shit that we used to see from him that was automatic, he could do with his eyes closed. We're not seeing that from him this year. He's missing. How about you got, again, listening to the telecast, and they try to make everything somebody else's fault but Brady's. Or if he throws a bad pass, they just gloss over it. Incomplete pass by Brady, and they talk about something else. You got a comeback route. And I want to say it was Antonio Brown. Left side of the field. Right by the sidelines. Easy 8-yard completion. No Ram in sight. He catches that. He probably gets the first down. Can get out of bounds after like a 12, 13-yard gain. Brady one-hops it to him. And I'm like, well, it must have been some pressure in his lap, right? Like, maybe the left tackle, Donovan Smith's getting bowled back, or the left guard is getting bowled back into his lap. He couldn't step into the throw, right? Nah. Just Brady. Errant. Tempo. And his clock in his head being sped up. A little bit of pressure. That's all you got to do is hit Brady a couple times early in the game. That's it. Get this man to start speeding every damn thing up. And you got him. We saw it in the Bears game. We saw it in both Saints games. We saw it today. He isn't what he once was. And he's 43. I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. But where you really see it is now he doesn't want to get hit. He doesn't want to be hit. The defense deserved better tonight. And they weren't great. They were good enough. Okay, they gave up damn near 400 yards passing to Jared Goff. Okay, I'm not absolving them of wrongdoing. They gave up a bad field goal before the half. I'm not absolving this defense. The game was tied at 24. They had a chance to force a stop, get the ball back to the offense with a chance to win. They didn't. They gave up a field goal. I'm not absolving the defense of wrongdoing. They're guilty in this as well. But they gave this offense chance after chance after chance after chance to get back into this game and take the lead. Hell, just tie it up. And they couldn't do it for the first 23 minutes of the half. It's rough. It's rough. They haven't been good on primetime all year either. You know, and I don't think it's a byproduct of, oh, it's just primetime. They've played really good teams in primetime. Let's be honest. If they would have played the Raiders, they were supposed to play the Raiders on primetime. They would have done what they did to the Raiders on that Sunday afternoon on primetime. Like, let's not make this out to be a primetime thing. Like a Kirk Cousins, oh my God, he's 0-9. Now he's 1-9 on primetime. No, there might have been some real, head games going on with Kirk on Monday night. That has nothing to do with this Buccaneers team. They've just played good teams that could get after Brady and rattle his cage, and that's why he's 1-3 on primetime and has looked awful on primetime this year. Because they've played good teams defensively on primetime. They're not going to put you up against the Carolina Panthers on primetime television. Nobody wants to see that. They're going to put you up against good teams that can get after Brady. And he's failed in every one of those situations. Let's talk about the Rams, though. I've been really impressed with the Rams' ability to just find ways to win. I'm still not sold on them. I still think that if you put a gun to my head, I still think they might be the third best team in their division. I know that's crazy to say. I think Arizona on a neutral field could beat the Rams. That being said, they're a good football team. And the addition of Jalen Ramsey, you're seeing it now. You're seeing what that does for them defensively. And they just got, you know what I love about their defense? Is they just got so many smart football players. You know what's fun? Offensive football is fun to watch. It's easy to understand. It's easy to see what's going on. It's easy to understand responsibilities. Defensive football is a lot harder to watch because of not knowing the responsibilities of every defender on the field and how they're being taught things and what they're looking at and what are their keys. But when you see smart defenders and smart defenses and well-coached defenses, those are so fun to watch. Teams that play, zone coverage and they pattern match, and they're not just covering patches of grass, but they're actually covering guys that run through their zone, and defenders that don't bite on, fakes, and their eye discipline is what it's supposed to be, where it's supposed to be, when it's supposed to be, and they break on the ball when they're supposed to. You make it tough. When you do your job as a defender, you make it tough on the opposition. And this Rams defense, how many times tonight did Brady try to force a ball where there were 3 Ram defenders waiting? Or he tries to go deep and he overshoots his guy by 5 yards and that defender is over the top waiting on a punt and just doesn't come down with it. Like, they're always where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. I love Darius Williams. I think he's been a revelation this year. I thought Troy Hill was physical tonight. He was around the football. He was tackling. I thought that both safeties, Fuller and John Johnson, were outstanding tonight. They've been outstanding all season long. Corey Fuller was a 7th round pick, I believe, out of Ohio State. if I'm not mistaken. And this guy's playing lights out. This Rams defense is well coached. Very well coached. They don't make a lot of mental mistakes. They don't beat themselves. You rarely see somebody just running wide ass open. Everything they did tonight was contested. Unlike the Buccaneers, where there were a couple of times where guys are just running free. And, it's crazy because I watched Rams film this year because they played Washington. And you watch what they do, and it's not complex. They just run the hell out of the shit that they run. And they count on you being undisciplined and not being where you're supposed to be. And they capitalize on that as soon as you don't do what you're supposed to do. It's 2-man route combinations. They're max protecting. They're keeping 7 guys in. The running back leaks out late after the fake. And it's 2-man routes. And guys are coming wide ass open. And you're like, bro, you got 5 guys back there. It's 2 receivers and somebody's wide ass open. How is that? Because you're playing space instead of playing man. You see a guy running through your zone, be like, hey, he ran out of my zone. That's not my guy. I'm just going to play my patch of grass. Despite seeing that there is no threat on your side of the field and there's no one coming, you're just going to let that guy run wide open. To nobody. Hey, I did my job. That's how the Rams, that's how they beat you up. That's how Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods end up with 10 and 12 catches for $143 and $130 apiece. Because you look up, Robert Woods is running through your zone and nobody's running with him, and he catches it, turns up the field, and the safety's all the way back there because he was getting depth, deeper than the deepest. Even though nobody was deeper than you on your third, you're still 30 yards back. Okay, cool. The Rams I marvel at what they do on a week in, week out basis. I marvel at Sean McVay and how he has this team prepared every single week. They may be outmatched. They may be overpowered. But they're going to execute. And even when they don't execute, it's usually not an ass whooping. It's funny. We talked about how the Rams last year had a down season. You know why? They had a down season, and I think they were 9-7 last year. And just barely missed the playoffs by a game. I would take a 9-7 season in Washington. Like, I haven't had a 9-7 season since 2015. Let that sink in for a little bit, man. A down season for the Rams. It's 9-7. Sean McVay doesn't know what losing football is as Rams head coach. He's had a winning record every year. He's on some Mike Tomlin shit. It's something about some of those young coaches that get in there early. Tomlin, remember when he got the Steelers job, youngest head coach in the league, has never had a losing season. Despite last year having 97 different quarterbacks, one named Duck. Mason Rudolph is trash. And somehow he manages to get that team to 8-8. And really, with 2 games left, had those boys in the playoffs. And they just fell the hell apart at the end of the season. Sean McVay is the NFC version of that in terms of winning. And it's because he has his team prepared. Every week. Every week. That's the one thing you won't do to Sean McVay is you won't out-prepare him. And you see it every week when these boys play. It isn't pretty. It isn't flashy. All right? But they're detail-oriented. They do things in a specific manner. Guys, if they're supposed to run 12 yards and get 12 yards of depth on a route, they're going to get 12 yards of depth. They don't skip over the small details. That's why they out-execute you. Because they do the little things. He makes sure that his players know why they're doing things. One of the things that amazes me with football players sometimes is that they don't actually know why they're doing it. They're just doing it because they were told this is what you have to do. The smart players want to know, well, why? Because there's a why to everything that you're doing. And if you don't do what you're supposed to do and you think, well, why am I doing this? I'm going to just do this instead of that because I can be open. It's not about you. It's about the play. And if you run it the way I tell you to run it, because, there's this high-low concept in the NFL. The Rams run it better than anybody else. They run the hell out of a high-low concept where you get a receiver underneath and you want the linebackers to react to that receiver underneath or that running back underneath. And the second that linebacker takes 2 steps up to react to that receiver underneath, you throw it behind him. You're looking to get that 14-yard dig. Like Sean McVay, how many times do you see Jared Goff go over the top 40, 50 yards down the field? Rarely does he do that. That's not how Sean McVay's offense works. He runs play action to get chunks. 14, 17, 22, 27. He's looking to get chunk plays. He's not necessarily looking to get over. Now, if he gets it, he'll take it. He's not turning down a 52-yard touchdown. But he's running plays so that he can get 22 and 17. So you'll see a guy flash over the middle of the football field. That linebacker will come up. And all of a sudden, right behind him, Jared Goff is waiting for that linebacker to come up so that guy clears and boom, he can get over his head. And that's what you saw tonight. Guy clears out the zone, running a go route, and here comes Robert Wood across from the other side of the formation, running a deep over route. That guy clears, takes the safety, the middle of the field safety, takes the corner with him, and nobody's on that side of the field, and Jared Goff hits him. And next thing you know, he turns up the field, and you got a 27-yard gain. This Rams team is, again, I don't think they can beat the upper echelon teams in the league. Right now, I look at the NFC, and I'm not sure that there isn't a team that they can't beat because who's dominant in the NFC? The Saints are good, but are you scared of the Saints with Taysom Hill at quarterback, even though he had a really good game on Sunday? Are you scared of the Saints with Taysom Hill at quarterback? Hell, are you even scared of the Saints with Drew Brees at quarterback? Nobody's afraid of the Packers. You're afraid of Aaron Rodgers, but as a collective unit, you're not afraid of the Packers. Hell, you're definitely not afraid of their defense. That's for damn sure. What about Seattle? They could be pretty scary if the defense is legit. We're not sure yet. But this Rams team is like, that's family business. I know them. I'm not afraid of them. Check. Who else you got? All right, well, what about these Bucs? I just beat them. In their place. Check. Who else you got? What about Arizona? Family business. Check. Who else you got? I don't have shit else for you, man. You already beat the entire NFC East, so I don't need to go. You already swept that division. I don't need to go there, do I? So, who really should the Rams be afraid of in this conference? I can sit here and talk all the shit I want about the Rams and how they're not this and they're not that and they don't do this and they don't do that. I know they win, and I know they got a coach that's going to make sure they're prepared every single week. I know that. And in this league, being prepared is half the battle. How many teams do we see come out on a weekly basis unprepared for the shit that's coming? Unprepared. It won't be the Rams. They might lose for lack of, execution by the players on the field. Sometimes you guys get beat. And like I told you, sometimes it's just not your day like it was against the Dolphins. They made too many mistakes in that game. Turnovers. Special teams was abysmal. Shit happens. It's the NFL. But they'll always be prepared. And they'll always have a formula for what they do to try to beat you. And they don't usually deviate from it. You know how we talk about some teams, they can run it this week and they kind of morph into whatever they need to be that week. That's what Sean did this week. He is a stickler for running the football. Got to run the football because they want to get to the play action. Nobody runs play action fake more than the Los Angeles Rams in the league. And I'd venture to say it's not even close. You got teams like Minnesota and Cleveland that come from that same tree that Sean McVay comes from, with that stretch offense, that zone run blocking scheme, and the play action fake off of it. Nobody runs more play action fake than Sean McVay. They said to hell with that tonight. We're going to spread these boys out and we're going to throw the football around the field. Because we don't think we can run the ball against them. And they were right. They couldn't run the ball tonight. The Bucs weren't having it. He said, don't worry about it. We're just going to throw this bitch around the field. Jared Goff had like 200 at halftime. Cooper Kupp had over a buck before halftime. They were just out there throwing the football around. That surprised me. Because normally Sean is like, hey, we gonna try to run. Even if I got to force the issue, we're going to try to run to set up this play action fake because I got to get to my play action fake. They really didn't do that tonight. This was an impressive win. I didn't think they were going to win this game. I didn't. I thought they would be competitive. I thought they'd be in the game. But I thought it was going to take more of a disruptive effort from their defense to get them this win. And really, primarily, I'm talking about their front. And I thought their front was good. I didn't think it was dominant. I didn't think they were all over Brady's ass tonight. I thought they did enough to rattle his cage. I think it was more the secondary. You know, it were a couple of sacks, coverage sacks. That sack by Wk11, where he crawls down and grabs Brady by the legs, and the commentator, you know, Brian Greasy, Donovan Smith struggled tonight. Well, hell, how long you want him to block for? Seriously, you want him to block to the end of time for eternity? Well, shit, how long do you want him to block before Brady needs to make a decision what the hell he's gonna do with the ball? You think he'll build a goddamn house back there? Get rid of this shit. Either you gotta move or you gotta get rid of it. I really think it was the secondary that caused Brady problems. Honestly. The front and the back were really married. And that's the impressive part about what the Rams do, is that back end, they're vicious, and that front end is equally as vicious. And when those two are married, like they were tonight, where you get a little bit of disruption from the defensive line, but the secondary is really holding up. I mean, some of those throws are like, Brady, what are you doing, bruh? Like, what are you, like that last interception, how are you going to fit that football into Gronk? Like, what are you doing? There was nowhere. There was a defender on his right. There was a defender trailing on the play and the guy over the top that made the pick. Where are you going to fit that football? Like, what are we doing right now? Here, again, I don't know what he was looking at tonight. I don't know what he was doing. But we've said that too many times this year about Tom Brady. Like, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was looking at. Like, this is one of those games where Bruce Arians is probably going to be like, hey, he got to play better. Remember he said that earlier in the season? Like, we didn't go get Brady for him to do that shit. This was a bad performance by Tom Brady. So, hats off to the Rams. I think they're a lot better than people thought they were going to be this year. I got a super chat, and then we'll get to the comment section real quick. Alec Meehan, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Alec writes, every time I watch the Rams, I get sick to my stomach knowing the fact that we let that man McVay go. Hashtag MOBB. Yeah, I mean, again, hindsight is 2020. I remember in the moment when, McVay left for the Rams, I didn't want to pick. I picked Gruden over McVay, even though I didn't want McVay to go. But Gruden had just come off of 2 straight winning seasons. We should have made the playoffs in 2016 if Dustin Hopkins didn't miss all those field goals. So in my mind, we won the division in 2015. We should have made the playoffs as a wild card in 2016. I'm like, Gruden's not doing a half bad job. But obviously, if they had to do it over again, they would have kept McVay. But coming off of the 2 seasons that Gruden had, it wasn't the right time to oust him for McVay. You know, that's like the Capitals getting rid of their coach, and after he won a Stanley Cup for the understudy Reardon, and he ended up stinking it up, and they fired him. Like, I don't even watch hockey, but I know that much. Like, that's stupid. God just won you a Stanley Cup. You hadn't won one ever, or at least anytime soon, and you had all this talent with Ovechkin for all these years. You finally get over the hump, and you don't want to pay the guy? That's stupid. Now, we could have done that with McVay because we hadn't won anything with Gruden, but they didn't know what McVay was going to do. They knew what they had. I don't think they knew how good of a coach he was going to turn out to be, and they weren't going to fire Gruden at that moment. So it's tough, though, because we've let so many talented guys out of our building, and the list is long, man. It's very, very long. It's not just McVay. It's Kyle Shanahan. You know, it's GM Schneider for the Seahawks. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of how many talented guys have come through Washington, and we just let them waltz out of our building for whatever reason. So, anyway, let's get to some of these comments. Niners fan says, I'm done with the Jared Goff disrespect. He's a damn good QB. People keep shitting on him just like they do Jimmy G. I'm here for all of the Jared Goff slander. I'm here for all of it because I'm going to swat all of that shit away. I'm swatting it away. Get it out of here. Send it to me because I can deflect it. Because I've been telling people for years, stop that Jared Goff shit, man. Stop. Is he flashy? Nope. Nope. He didn't, you know, he's not Patrick Mahomes. Nobody is outside of Mahomes. He's not Aaron Rodgers. You know, he's not flashy. He's not one of these guys that have just come up like, what's the Oregon kid's name? Justin Herbert. You know, he ain't going to make those splash plays. He's not going to be running around throwing, you know, BBs 30 yards down the field on a frozen rope. That ain't him. That's not who he is. But what he is a damn good quarterback that's accurate as hell and runs the shit out of Sean McVay's system. And when the ball needs to be put somewhere, he puts the ball right there. 9 times out of 10. So, you know, I'm here for all of that Jared Goff slander because I won't stand for it. I won't stand for it. Captain Spartan says, this is what should have been Super Bowl 53. This type of game. What an electrifying game. I really enjoyed this game thoroughly. You know, some people, they get bored with games like this where there's a lull in the action in terms of scoring and things like that. I love defensive battles. I love to watch the chess match between, you know, offense and defense. And you saw a little bit of that tonight. And I thought that the Rams got the best of the Buccaneers. Even that play where Chris Godwin on that 4th and 1 falls down, you know, stumbles. Troy, look, I'll be honest with you. Troy Hill was all over that shit. He was I don't know if he catches it and gets the first down anyway. He was all over that route. Like it's like they were in the huddle for the Bucs. They just were all over everything. Nothing seemed open. Nothing. Got a super chat here from my man JP. Thank you for the super chat, JP. Greatly appreciate you. JP writes, Lou, don't you dare remind me about my beloved Capitals allowing Trotz to leave and promote Reardon. I'm a big hockey Caps fan, by the way. Yeah, and that's what I was referring to. I couldn't think of his name. Barry Trotz is his name. And they promoted Reardon instead of re-signing Trotz after he won the goddamn Stanley Cup. And it's like, this man fought all these years to try to get you over the hump. He finally gets over the hump, wins you a Stanley Cup. And we arguing over numbers? Sign the man to a contract and bring him back and let him run it back. Instead, they think they've got this genius in Reardon behind him. And so, well, we're going to let you go. We're going to pay this guy less money, but we think he's going to be a better coach than you. Okay, fine. Let's see. 2 years later, you're firing the guy. And meanwhile, the guy that you got rid of is winning playoff games and series against you for another team. Stupid. Just it doesn't make any sense. But that's a totally different sport. Anyway, thank you for the super chat, JP. Hank Midas says, just want to thank you for the work you've done so far. Enjoy your bye week. I appreciate you, Hank, man. I really do. I appreciate every single one of you guys, honestly. Again, without you guys, there's no me. This whole LouieTeeNetwork thing doesn't exist without the support of you guys out there. You know, it could be here in theory, but if I'm talking to myself, what good is it? So you guys make this thing what it is, and I really do appreciate you guys, honestly. And I tell you guys that every opportunity that I get a little sentimental as we get towards the holidays a lot of times, but I really do appreciate you guys, and so thank you. I really appreciate that, Hank. Got one here. Cody _ says, I never thought I'd be sad when Tom Brady blew a game-winning drive, but you know what, Lou? I feel sad that he blew it. I was upset because I had the Bucs, and I had an abysmal week picking games this week. I went 8-6. It was a rough week for the kid. And I needed this one to save face. And it's okay. I told you I'm going to take mine like a man because this is what it's going to be for me the rest of the way, where I'm going to go out on a limb, make some picks that may not, turn out right for me, but I'm not upset. I'm more upset when I don't trust my gut, and then what I thought was going to happen happens. That's when I get upset. But I had the Bucs, so I really wanted him to make something happen on that last drive. But everything leading up to that final drive had already told me all I needed to know. I had zero confidence in Brady's ability to take them down the field and get a touchdown. I said, now they could get lucky. He's thrown up a bunch of moon balls tonight, and they could get a pass interference. They've gotten quite a few of those because if you want to be honest, they scored points in the first half. How many of those drives were aided and abetted by pass interference penalties? So I was like, they could get lucky. He could let one rip, and Jalen Ramsey could be down there tussling with Mike Evans and get flagged again. But unless something like that happens, they ain't getting a damn thing on this drive. I had zero confidence in Brady, and he did exactly what I thought he was going to do, which was make a mistake. Cody _ says, like Hank said, thank you for your great work. This is a much-deserved bye for you, Lou. Have a great Thanksgiving. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Cody. And again, I really appreciate you and your support as well. You're one of those guys, a lot of you are, that whatever I put out, you're here chopping it up with me. And you're football fans. And that's what I am at my core. So I really appreciate you too, man. Thank you, guys. Got one here from Hank Midas. The Bucs are not ready for prime time. Offense seems so pedestrian with all the talent that they have. Got to credit the Rams D, though. I feel the exact same way. Like, I just can't understand why, for the life of me, they got all of this talent. And Antonio Brown looks good, by the way. There was a catch, I think it was his second catch of the game on that first possession, where Brady throws, down in his shoe tops. And it's a linebacker conversion, and I don't know how the hell Brady fit it in there, but he throws it down there, and you got a guy crossing your face as the ball's getting it, and Antonio Brown just scoops that shit up like it's nothing, catches the football, drops it in front, first down. Like, damn, it's a hell of a catch. But that's what Antonio Brown does. You got Brown, you got Godwin, you got Evans, you got Cameron Brate. Yeah, all this talent. You got Scotty Miller. You got the young kid from Minnesota. And you trying to tell me can't nobody get open? I don't know. I think some of it is coaching. Because I don't think they're catering to Brady's strengths. And some of it is Brady. Because they're opportunities. And he's missing guys. and he's not seeing the field well. But if you're Bruce Arians or Byron Leftwich, who's calling the plays, at some point, you got to see Brady struggling, and you got to start calling some stuff that's going to settle him down. Some underneath stuff. Some easy completion. And I ain't talking about flares out of the backfield to the running back, where he's getting 1 yard or he's going to get plastered for no gain. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about some short underneath stuff. Just a stop, a little spot route. 5-yard stop. Let Brady hit that. And maybe they did call some stuff like that and Brady just didn't get to it. I don't know. It's baffling with all the talent that they have that they can have games that look like this. And, 24 points is misleading if you didn't watch this game. You just think, oh, man, Rams pulled it out late. No, the score was like 17-14 at halftime. But even those 14 points, some of that was aided by penalties down the field. So when you really peel back the layers, you're like, he really didn't have a good game at all. Even that first half was a little misleading. Definitely got to credit the Rams defense. I agree with you, Hank. Niners fan says, do you think the Bucs are still Super Bowl contenders? I don't. And honestly, I never really did. Remember, it took me like 7 weeks into the season to admit that they were going to make the playoffs. I wasn't convinced early. And then they had that little stretch there where they were starting to score a bunch of points. And I was like, okay, all right. I was wrong about the Bucs. Because remember that game against the Bears on a Thursday? I was like, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I'm not sold on the Bucs. But I'm like, you got to acknowledge, no. First of all, the NFC, the conference itself is not great to keep them out of the playoffs. Secondly, they're a good enough team. They got too much talent. They got Brady. We can sit here and talk about Brady's this, he's that. He's an upgrade over Jameis Winston. He's still a damn good quarterback in this league when he's on and his offense is on. So they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender, though. I don't. Lil Lion says, all love goes out to you, Lou. Have an amazing Thanksgiving. You deserve it. I appreciate that, man. I really do. Likewise to you and yours, man. Hopefully you really enjoy your Thanksgiving, and hopefully we get a win on it as well. Kevin the PRF says, the Dream Team. It's feeling like that now. They're going to make the playoffs, unlike the Dream Team. They're going to make the playoffs. But what did I tell you guys over and over again? This feels Dream Team-ish. Did I not say that over and over again? But we're going to see. Still a lot of football left to be played. King Sean 32 says, Tom Brady is definitely not the GOAT. Now, don't go too far with this now. Don't don't try and define Brady by his worst moments. Don't do that. The man's won 6 Super Bowls, went to 11 straight AFC championship games. He's played in more Super Bowls than any other quarterback in NFL history. Like, don't try to define this man by this stretch of football here at the end of his career. The man is the GOAT. We've seen guys with more talent. We've seen guys with, stronger arms, more mobility, all of that good stuff. But we've never seen a winner like Tom Brady. That's not on accidents. That's not on by coincidence. Don't disrespect Tom Brady. We could talk about Brady in his current state, but his body of work speaks for itself. Ree says, there is only one word to describe this team, and I'm going to spell it out for y'all. He says, S-A-W-F-T, soft. See, now, I know you're mad, you're upset, and you should be, because your team continues to do this to you on primetime television. And there's nothing worse than getting embarrassed. And this wasn't embarrassing. So, Let's check that. This wasn't an embarrassing performance. This just was a disappointing performance. But the Buccaneers defense is anything but soft. Now this offense, that's debatable. I definitely could make an argument for the offense being soft. Absolutely, this defense isn't soft. I won't allow that. But offensively, yeah, I could see that. The defense is inconsistent. I'll grant you that. But soft, nah, I wouldn't describe this defense as that. Rich says, what was up with all of the overthrows tonight by both quarterbacks? Well, Jared Goff isn't a deep ball thrower, So you'll get that from him from time to time when he's trying to chuck it deep. But he was pretty accurate, over the middle of the field, in that intermediate zone where he does most of his damage. He was pretty damn accurate. Captain Spartan says, Rams will probably claim the 5 seed for sure, but we said every time someone enters the playoffs with a bad record, winner of the NFC East this year, makes the playoffs, they always win somehow. Rams upset watch. Let me tell you right now, I love all of this disrespect, and it's deserved. I'm not here to defend the NFC East. But I love the disrespect, and they throw so much shade on Monday night. It's ridiculous. I'm going to be rooting so hard for whoever is in the playoffs from the NFC East. Whether it's my boys, it's Dallas, because I know they're not going to win the Super Bowl. So I can root for them for one game. I'm going to root so hard for that team to win because there's been so much disrespect for this division. And again, it is deserved, every bit of it. But don't dismiss us. Do not dismiss whomever comes out of that division like, oh yeah, they just show up and they lose automatically. That's how they played us tonight. Whoever is in the NFC wants to have that first wild card because you want to have the winner of the NFC. Okay, go ahead and line that shit up if you want to. Get your ass blessed in the first round of the damn playoffs. Because the last 2 times we've seen this happen, the team at home that everybody was laughing about won the goddamn game. So go ahead and laugh all you want. All that team wants is a chance. I just want a chance. I'd love to see the Rams again. I was not overly impressed with when they beat us the first time. Totally different team. And that game was close for much of the game. I'd love to see their ass again. But we got to get there first. Ali Side says, Lou, hope you and your family have a great Thanksgiving. And God damn it, I'm going to miss you. I appreciate that. I'm going to miss you guys too. I was telling my girl the other day, I said, man, it's amazing how I need this bye week. I need it. I need to recharge the battery. But every time I see a game, I'm going to be itching to want to get back up here and do a video, And I know I need to get some rest. I burn the candle at both ends a lot of times. I need to get more rest. I need to be able to just take in all of this downtime and relax. But I just love football so much that I know I'm going to be watching one of these primetime games. And I'm going to be like, damn, I want to do a video, But I'm going to sit on the sideline, man. Like, I know I'm going to want to do a video after that Eagles because they probably going to get their ass whooped by the Seahawks. It would be just like the Eagles to show up and make it a competitive game, but I wouldn't be shocked if they got their asses handed to them. If the Seahawks defense is what we think it is moving forward, this is a perfect opportunity because the Eagles offense stinks. They just are trash right now, So I'm definitely going to miss you guys for sure. And I'm probably gonna tell you as much when I come back. That first video, I'm like, man, I missed you guys. I missed doing this. I missed you guys. But happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, Ali Side. I really appreciate you, and hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving as much as I will with my family. JP says, please, for the love of God, Get Tampa Bay's Neanderthal ass off of national television for the rest of the year. That pick by Brady was effing egregious at the end. I think that's the last time we got to deal with them unless they flex them in an important game down the stretch of the season. So I think we've gotten well, technically they've only played 4. So there is a window for a 5th that they may take advantage of. You get Brady in Tampa, they're going to use up all 5 of those primetime games. You know what? The 5th one was supposed to be that Tampa Bay game against the Raiders on Sunday night that got pushed back because of the COVID situation. So they're done. They would have played 5 primetime games already. This would have been the 5th. Still look out for them potentially getting flexed, however, later in the season if they've got a big game against somebody, i.e. next week versus the Chiefs on Sunday night. They don't usually start flexing, I think, until I think it's 10 they can start. I think it used to be 12. It might be 10. I don't think they're flexing the game next Sunday, though. But I think the next Sunday game is Packers and Bears. That's a good enough matchup, and it's a historical matchup. And Bears-Packers usually does good numbers for the networks, so I don't think they're going to flex that game. But had that Buccaneers-Chiefs game been 3 weeks down the road and Sunday night was supposed to be Dallas and the Eagles or something like that, or Dallas and the Giants, they'd have flexed that game right out of there and inserted Bucks. So you're not out of the Buccaneers' woods yet because they could get flexed in on a Sunday night. But for all intents and purposes, you're done with them on Thursday. You're done with them on Monday. Sunday is the only way you could get more Buccaneers football. So we'll see what happens. Got a super chat here from my man, Silver V. Thank you for the super chat. Silver Villains, greatly appreciate you, who writes, is Alex Smith the best quarterback in your division right now? You know what? As crazy as it is to say that, yes. Yes, he is. Carson Wentz is a mess right now. Daniel Jones, he's inconsistent at best. And, Andy Dalton is solid, but, he just had one good game. You got to see the consistency from him. There's a body of work, and Alex is getting back to what he once was as a winner in this league. And so, yeah. As crazy as this sounds, Alex Smith, the guy that we thought would never play another snap in the NFL, is the best quarterback in the NFC East right now. Who would have thought we'd be able to make that statement? Crazy. That's 2020 for you. Let's see where we are now. Right here. Reese says, we think we're big dogs, Lou. We run into big dogs and we get worked every time. We bark and bark and bark. I needed a good laugh, Ree. He says we bark and bark and never bite. We beat up on the puppies, but the big dogs take us to school. That's a good analogy. That's a really good analogy for this Buccaneers team. Is they're all bark and no bite, and that's what we've seen from them this year. The teams that, they're and when they get up to those dogs, they back down a little bit. Like, oh, okay, all right, it's yours. I didn't want anything, but I'm gonna tell you right now, man. They're still a dangerous team. I just don't see it. I don't see it with Brady, with this offense. I don't know if this offense is made for him. Rich says, not talking about you, Lou, but I haven't heard people make excuses for Brady, but the people who say Tom Brady is washed are the same people who hate the Patriots. What a coincidence. No. There are a lot of Brady haters out there. A lot of people that hated the Patriots, hated Brady, want to see him lose. I just don't want to hear any excuses for him. But look, if you're washed, you're not going 31. I don't give a shit who you're playing against. You're not going 31 or 42 for 360 and 4 touchdowns if you're washed. You're not doing that. Okay, you're not going, 34 of 45 for 412 and 5 touchdowns if you're washed. That's not what washed quarterbacks do. So I'm not calling Brady washed. I just don't want to hear excuses when he has one of these types of performances. That's what I'm saying. But I know, like you said, you weren't talking to me. But there are a lot of Brady haters out there. When you win, it comes with the territory. So that's to be expected. Reese says, the Chiefs are going to drop 60 on us on Sunday. No, they're not. They're not. And I'm going to tell you something else, let you in on a little secret, Ree. Their defense isn't all that good. So as long as they don't allow a Chris Jones to go ape shit on them up the middle, and if they can protect, you'll be able to get into a shootout with those boys. That should be a fun one to watch. Captain Spartan says, you can disrespect Brady all you want. I've learned my lesson not to mess with him. Bucks might not win, might not be much this year, but next year I fully expect NFC Championship run. That's what I said before, but I'm starting to go against that theory because I don't know. And, a second year in the offense, because remember, Brady was in the offense for over a decade with Josh McDaniels for a long time. He was very comfortable. Brand new system, a lot of moving parts, no offseason, COVID-19. I get all of that. I understand. So, with that said, a second year in this offense, a better understanding, maybe a full offseason worth of work, maybe Brady's a lot more equipped to be better, acclimated, to go up against better defenses with this group. Maybe that's, and that's what I thought. Initially, when I said Brady won't win anything this year, I don't even think they made the playoffs, but next year, look out. I don't know if he's a great fit for this offense. We'll see. But see, this is the thing, Captain. You're thinking of the New England Brady. You got to stop doing that. You got to be able to, you got to be able to separate the two. Compartmentalize. Remove that from what you know. And just look at Brady in Tampa for what it is. You keep waiting for Brady to turn it up. I don't know if that's happening. Because this isn't New England. And the other guys around him don't have that same mindset that they had in New England. That's why you got to stop thinking like, oh, it's Brady. Watch out. But you got to remember, all those other guys in that locker room and that coach, they thought differently. They were a different breed. That's why they were the B&B winning factory, because they cracked the whip in New England and got everybody else on board. It was like a one-track mind out there. They were robots sent to win football games. That's not what's going on in Tampa. These boys don't know how to win. They're relying on Brady to show them the way, and he's got performances like this. It's hard for him to get them to buy in when you're playing like this sometimes. And nobody's going to question Tom Brady. I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but they're looking to Tom Brady to lead. In New England, they were looking for Tom Brady to lead as well, but everybody in that locker room was accountable because there was this aura about New England Patriots football. They expected to win. This Bucs team, they're not expecting to win. They want to win. They're hoping Tom Brady brings them that winning pedigree, but they don't know anything about winning. And you see it in these close ball games. You see it when times get tough and Brady's got to go over there and lay into them. They're not used to that. Storm, can we please get more Raiders, Rams, Chiefs, Packers, Steelers, Colts on primetime and less Bucks and Brady? I swear we've seen the Bucks 50 times and the rest of the playoff teams like twice. It feels like it, but this is the thing. When the NFL makes schedules, they don't know who's going to be good and who's not going to be good. So I remember 2 years ago, I believe it was, the NFL, the year after the 49ers got Jimmy G, NFL thought that the 49ers were going to be good. Because he came and he went undefeated. I think he went 5-0. And, they love San Francisco. The NFL loves San Francisco. When they're good, it's good for the league. Well, the 49ers stunk the next year. Jimmy G, I think week 2 against the Chiefs tore his ACL. They were horrible, and the NFL was stuck with like 4 primetime games they couldn't do anything with. Got to suck it up. Remember we had that, even though we had that dandy of a Monday night game with the Packers that year where the Packers should have lost. And C.J. Beathard, they had him on the ropes and let him off the hook on a Monday night. Rodgers brought him back. But we were stuck with a bunch of 49ers games. The same thing happened last year with the Browns. Everybody was drinking the Browns Kool-Aid after Baker Mayfield's rookie season. Oh, my God, this guy looks legit. They got a coach now, and he believes in Baker, and Baker believes in the coach. And they about to tear it up. They got Odell Beckham. Oh, my God, this Browns team is about to be crazy. They put them on primetime like 6 times. Remember we had to sit through Browns-Jets on a Monday night? It was like, really? They can only project. They don't know who's going to be good. They just go with the teams that they think are going to be good and that they think people are going to want to see. Who didn't want to see Brady in Tampa Bay? You know, conversely, who didn't want to see, you know, the Brady-less Patriots led by Belichick? Like, you wanted to see, Cam Newton. They didn't even know Cam was going to be in New England when they made the primetime schedule. They just like, hey, we want to see what the Brady-less Belichick team looks like in New England. And you kind of get caught up. And the teams that ultimately just end up being good, they didn't know that. So, yeah. You're going to, trust me, before the season's end, you're going to see plenty of the Steelers, starting with this week. You got the Steelers on Thanksgiving. We already had the Steelers on a Monday night, first week of the season. And I think you're going to get the Steelers again. But you also got to remember, if you're on a Sunday night game and you're playing somebody that's trash, they're going to flex you out of there. So you could have been getting, you know, like there could be Steelers-Browns the second time around on Sunday Night Football. You know, that's a game that could get flexed. You'll see some more of these teams. Like, it would have been great if Colts and Titans was going to be, you know, week 15. But it's this week. They're not flexing that game to Sunday night. So, well, we'll see. Cody _ says, I was saying that to my friend. Bucks won't win the Super Bowl because Bruce Arians doesn't use Brady correctly. Josh McDaniels knew how to use Brady. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, you know, Brady's built to be cerebral and systematically take you apart underneath. Arians is looking to get over the top. That's why Jameis Winston and him made such beautiful music together. Jameis giveth, he taketh away, but Jameis was going to push it down the field, and Bruce loved it. But you can't deal with the turnovers. But I'm not lying to you. Jameis was a better fit for this offense than Tom Brady is. I said it, and I mean it. Reese says, Donovan Smith is straight asshole. Hey, look, the man gutted it out tonight with a bum ankle, man. Hurt his ankle on the first play of the game, man. Cut him some slack. JP says, in the words of Gordon Ramsay, what are you, Tom Brady? Brady, an idiot sandwich. Again, I will not stand for the Tom Brady slander. He's not playing well now. And I don't want to hear any excuses for him, but Brady's still a hell of a quarterback. Emperor Meat says, this isn't the AFC nor AFC East from 2000 to 2019. There's quarterbacks in the NFC and especially in the NFC South. We're not going to bow down to Tommy Boy just because he's here in the conference. And that was the exact message I delivered when I gave my season predictions for the NFC South. And I said that I didn't see Tom Brady, first of all, waltzing into the NFC South and Atlanta and New Orleans just saying, oh, King Brady, we bow to you. We kneel at your feet. Here's the division because you just showed up. The Saints are a better team, and they're going to prove it, and they did by sweeping them. I thought Atlanta would be better. That's a disappointment. But that's Atlanta every year. They're a disappointment. But I feel the exact same way. I did not think that this conference was going to bow down to him. Now, we say that, but he took Aaron Rodgers and company down. They took Aaron Rodgers and those boys down, you know. But this is not the AFC East. You know, it's not the Dolphins, the Bills, and not this version of the Bills. The version that didn't have a quarterback for years. And the Jets. This isn't that. You're not going to just walk over teams and win the division and have it wrapped up by week 12. Cody says, for the past 3 or 4 years, people predict the Falcons will be good, and they haven't been. LOL. Comment, Lou. Yeah. Just like, you know, one of the chic picks every year is, hey, look out for the Lions. Okay. I'm never that guy. I'm never that guy, but I hear a lot of people doing it. Hey, watch out for the Lions this year. Oh, okay. Cool. I'm the dummy. I told you I do two stupid ass things every year. One usually turns out to be not too far off, and the other turns out to be stupid as hell. Every year, the Packers are either 12-4, 13-3, or 14-2 for me. Because I can't find losses for Rodgers because I'm an Aaron Rodgers apologist. I just think he's that damn good. And every year I think Atlanta's going to be good because they got all these weapons. And somehow, some way, and I always think defensively they're going to be better because they're going to get, you know, Jones back at linebacker because he was hurt, and they're going to get Keanu Neal back at safety because he was hurt, and they're going to be balling. Deion Jones and Keanu Neal changes this defense drastically, but I always forget that one key ingredient that they lack and haven't had for quite some time. Pass rush. And they still don't have a damn pass rush. And that'll get you got every time in this league. I don't care how good your secondary is. I don't care how good your defense is. You can't get to the quarterback. If you can't scheme it up to get to the quarterback, because for years, the Patriots never had an elite rusher, but they could scheme it up. If you can't find a way to get to the quarterback and impact that quarterback, you're going to be in trouble. Rich says, fell asleep during stream last night. Don't know or how you answer this. Can we stop discrediting the Steelers? They can only beat who they play against, and they get the job done. I'm not discrediting them. I just know that something's off with the offense. That's what I keep referring to. Something's off with this offense. But damn if that defense isn't legit. It is what it is. Until I see these boys play somebody. And anybody that feels that way about the Steelers, they're right. They have the opinion. They have the right to have that opinion. They haven't played any real good teams this season. Let's call a spade a spade. Outside of the teams in their division, they haven't played anybody. It's not their fault though. I've already stressed this. They play the AFC South, and they play the NFC East. Like, it's not their fault. They beat Tennessee in Tennessee. That's a big win. They beat Baltimore in Baltimore. Massive win. They mopped the floor with Cleveland already. Big win. That's 3 out of 10. Everybody else on that schedule that they've beaten, super trash. Not their fault. Not their fault. Got to win the games, and that's what they've done. Captain Spartan says, how did the Rams fix that O-line in one season like that? Haven't been paying that much attention to them, but the O-line feels a lot better than last year. Well, it's simple. They were banged up last year on the offensive line. There was nothing wrong with the offense when it's healthy, the offensive line. It just wasn't healthy last year. They were decimated by injuries last year. Similar to the Cowboys' offensive line this year, where they've been decimated by injuries and they got all these guys filling in. That's what the Rams were last year. You know, there's only so much you can do when you got 3 out of your 5 started offensive linemen out, and then one of the replacements that came in is also out. Like, it's tough. All right. Let's get out of here. I'm just looking at some more of these comments before I get out of here. My man Reed says, I'd take this Tom Brady 1,000 times out of 1,000 over Jameis. Facts. I still expect Brady to succeed. With Jameis, it got to the point where I counted on him to let me down. And that's all I'm trying to convey is, look, Brady's better than Jameis overall for this team. But in the offense, that's all I'm trying to say. In this particular offense run by Bruce Arians and called by Byron Leftwich, Jameis was a better fit. But there's no comparing the two. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here, man. And I'm going to allow y'all to go ahead and enjoy the rest of y'all night. I can't stress to you guys how much fun I enjoy, how much fun I have and enjoy, doing these with you guys, talking football, the sport that we all love. And I look forward to chopping it up with y'all post-bye. But I am definitely going to enjoy this time off, catch up on some sleep if there's ever such thing. Start preparing for the future, because that's what I do on these bye weeks, is start looking ahead and start kind of turning my attention to the draft now that I have that ability to do so. So I'll start doing some work there, and I'll come back refreshed, ready for the stretch run. And I hope you guys are ready, because we're going to hit the ground running on the comeback trail. And I look forward to chopping it up with you guys and really getting into the nitty-gritty of this season. I'm going to say this before I go. We're into week 12 now. Week 11 is officially in the books. This season is almost done. What? Crazy. I know. Thanksgiving is always that time where you realize, damn, this shit is almost over. But I'm going to enjoy this Thanksgiving, these 3 games, take in all of the action. And then you guys load up on all the questions, get everything organized, because when we come back, we're going to hit it hard. We're going to pick up right where we left off. We're going to catch up on all the stuff that we missed from that week apart. And then we'll get right back to where we need to be. So I look forward to, and I'm pretty sure, I know me, I'm going to end up doing a video. It'll probably be a Washington video after the Thanksgiving game, because I can't help myself. Maybe I won't. But if I had to bet, if I were a betting man, I'd bet that I'll probably do a video after that game, because I can't help myself. Win or loss. But more likely than not, that'll be the only way you'll see me for the remainder of the week. So I know I won't see you again before Thanksgiving, so I'm going to tell you this now. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. From me and mine to you and yours, from the bottom of my heart, enjoy the 5 F's. And in no particular order: faith, family, friends, food, and football. Enjoy them. Cherish them. Cherish your family. Cherish your friends. Cherish the people that you love. All right? Because nothing is promised to us. Nothing. And so don't take any of these for granted. That's why I love Thanksgiving. Because it's another opportunity to make memories that will last a lifetime. So take advantage of it. I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. If you haven't already done so, remember, hit that subscribe button. All right? Turn on that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And also hit that like button on the way out. As a wise man told me, happy Thanksgiving. You guys have a good one. Take care. I'll see you next time.